Hello and welcome to my channel. In this video, we will be covering chapter number 11, Estate Planning. This video is part of NISM Investment Advisor playlist. So I recommend you to please go through the playlist. Already many other videos has been uploaded. So it would be really helpful for you. You can get the link to the playlist in the description box at the end of this video as well as on the I button. Now let's start with this one. If you like the video, do hit the like button and please do not forget to subscribe to the channel. That would be really supportive for me. Now let's start. Estate planning refers to the organized approach to managing the accumulated assets of a person in the interest of the intended beneficiaries. So, in simple words, whatever property you have accumulated in your life, all the assets you own, or if any liabilities on you, where would that pass after your death? So, to make sure that your property passes in the right hand and it goes as per your desire, you should do estate planning. It's also done to avoid any kind of dispute, any claims, any legal battles, taxes, etc. So all the hindrances won't come after your death and it would go smoothly in the hands of the beneficiaries or heirs in as per your desire, as per your will. So this is what estate planning is about. So you need to plan before about, you need to plan it in well in advance to get a proper functioning in how your will, your property would pass on to the beneficiaries. Without proper estate planning, there could be disputes, conflicting claims, legal battles, unavoidable taxes, and unstructured payoffs that may not be in the best interest of the beneficiaries. So, it may happen that if you have not mentioned to whom that your property should actually pass, then your loved ones or your closer ones to whom you wanted that the property passes may have to suffer the impact, and they may have to fight legal blames if someone else would be claiming for your property. So to avoid all these kind of disputes and to make sure that the legal proceedings go in a proper way and the property passes on, the ownership is transferred to heirs and beneficiaries as per your wish. So to make all that sure, proper estate planning is required. The primary purpose of estate planning involves declaration of will, formation of trust, designation of beneficiaries, power of attorney, property ownership, rights, and charity. Okay, so the primary purpose of doing all these estate planning involves first you declare your will. Your will will be containing the names of the beneficiaries, the property which you are owning, the value of those property, the way you are dividing that, and in what clauses and what manners those property would be passed, and when the beneficiaries would be the legal owner of those properties. All these things would be declared in the will, or you may form a trust. So the trust would be an organization that would be looking after your property. If any charity you want to make, that would be conducted by this trust, and this trust would be this trust would be carrying forward your business and would be looking after that the benefits are provided to the right hands. Designation of beneficiary, so here you would be mentioning all the names to whom you want to transfer your properties. Power of attorney, you would be providing this power. The property ownership, rights, and charity, so who would be having the legal rights, and if charity if you want to do out of your property. All these things are the primary purpose for which estate planning is done. The term estate includes all the assets and liabilities belonging to the deceased person. So, all the assets, all the liabilities which are there on you, that after your death would be termed as estate. So, it may be the properties could be like cash, jewelry, house, car, land, stocks, or any assets which would be passed to intended beneficiaries, providing legal ownership to them. So, after your death, who would be the legal owner of those properties, that would be defined under what is estate and how it would be passed. In case any claims or debt need to be settled, that too would be responsibility of the beneficiaries. So we are not just talking about that the assets which we are owning would be passed. If liabilities also are there on your head, so that would also be passed to the beneficiaries, and the beneficiaries would have to settle down any claims or debt which was there on the deceased person. Now let's understand what could be the consequence of dying in estate. Dying in estate means you have not created any estate in form of will or trust, so you have not done any kind of declaration, and your death occurs. So what would happen as a consequence? So, if a person dies without making a will, he is said to have died in estate, and in such case, his property will be inherited by his heirs in accordance with laws of succession applicable to him. This may lead to undesirable distribution of property. So, if you have not declared any kind of estate, if you have not declared will or not formed any trust, so it's like you have not passed on the property to any particular person as per your choice. So, what would happen after your death? The law of succession would become applicable, and the law of succession would guide who would actually be the owner of your property. So, your heirs, then your wife, your children's, and the children's of your children, all those things are mentioned in law of succession, and as per the rule, your property would pass on to them in case you have not declared any estate. So this lead to undesirable distribution of property. Sometimes you may wish to divide your property in certain manner to your dependents. So in if you have not declared it, it may lead to undesirable distribution in such case. Now, succession is governed by personal laws which will apply in the case of any state death. Different personal laws apply as follow. So, as I said, if you have not declared, it would be your property transfer would be governed under the laws of succession. Now, these laws of succession would be governed according to your religion. So, if you are Hindu, Buddhist, Jain, or Sikh, you would be coming under the Hindu Succession Act. It would be governing the property ownership, the property transfer. If you are Christian, Jews, or Parsis, it would be governed under the Indian Succession Act 1925. If you are a Muslim, it would be governed under the Mohammedan personal laws, and thus the property would be transferred according to the laws of succession applicable. But if you wish that the property transferred in the right hands as per your desire, as per your distribution you want, so it's very important that you do a proper estate planning so that your business, your asset could grow over the time, and it does not diminish, it does not dissolve after your death. Okay, so coming to will is tool for estate planning. So when you are making this declaration, will come into picture. So will is defined in section 2H of the Indian Succession Act to mean the legal declaration of the intention of the testator with respect to his property which he desires to be carried into effect after his death. So, will is like a legal declaration you would be making. So, you could hire a lawyer and you could declare a will in which you would be mentioning about your property, the beneficiaries, and how the property would be distributed among those beneficiaries after your death. So, that would be defined under a term called will. Testator. So, what does testator mean? The person making the will is the testator, and his rights extend to what are legally his own. The will comes into effect only after the death of the testator. So, testator is actually you who would be drawing your will, who would be declaring your will, and the will would come into existence only after your death. So, till when you are alive, you are the sole owner of all your property. But after your death, the will would come into picture, and the legal ownership would be divided as per your choice. Then comes the legatee. So the person who is named in a will to receive a portion of deceased person's estate is known as legatee. So the it's also like beneficiaries to whom we were mentioning. So beneficiaries are actually who will be receiving the portion of the property, who will be receiving the portion of property after your death. Then the executor, the person named in the will to administer the estate of deceased person, is termed as an executor. So this executor could be any organizer, could be a lawyer, could be any other person who would be responsible for executing your will in a proper manner, who would be gaining your confidence to execute that, who would be a professional in that particular area. Now coming to trust. So one way you could declare through will your property transfer, other you could also create a trust. This is also a tool for estate planning. So a trust is an arrangement where you entrust property to an organization with confidence accepted by the trustees to work in the benefit of beneficiaries. So actually trust is created when you are owning many businesses. So you want that after you also there should be an organization who would be looking after all your business in a proper manner, and who would be looking after that the property, the businesses are transferred as per your choice, and there is no illegal claims on that. So a trust would be looking after all these things, would be managing your property, would be managing your businesses. Now parties involved in a trust would be trustee. Trustee is one who accepts the legal title and exercises control over the trust property in the interest of the beneficiary. So, trustee would be the managers of those trusts, the managers who would be taking the responsibility to manage the trust in interest of beneficiaries and not just in interest of themselves. So they won't be the legal owner of the property. The legal owner of the property would be the beneficiaries for whom the trust is created. They would just be managing the trust in they would just be managing the trust and would be getting the commission out of it, the profit out of it, which would be declared in that trust document. Beneficiaries are the persons for whose benefit the trust is created, and those persons are termed as beneficiary. We already mentioned that. Trust deed. So the trust deed defines the purpose of the trust, the beneficiaries, the property of the trust, power of trustees, among others. So trust deed would be a legal document that would be signed by the trustee, the testator, as well as the beneficiary. So all the parties involved would be signing this trust deed, and it would be defining the power, the purpose for which the trust is created, how it need to act, and how the property should be maintained, and the objective of this trust creation. So these are some of the points which would be covered under trust deed. And thus estate planning becomes very important because you need to manage the whole hard work which you have put in creating a property over a longer period of time. So you must want that after your death that property should be transferred as per your choice to your people who would be handling it in the most efficient and proper manner, and who would be carrying forward your business, your property in an efficient way. Thus, the estate planning becomes important. Coming to family settlement is yet another tool for estate planning. This is the most commonly used method and has been followed from very previous times. When people used to sit in a family, all the members were involved and a common decision was made regarding the transfer of property. Now, these are the members of the family who are having some kind of interest or claim in the property. So the dispute must be between members of the same family, and a settlement entered must be between persons having title claim or interest in the property. So when we are talking about family settlement, we know that the members who are involved are of the same family, and one way or another they are having interest in the property. Now after that it is decided that how the property need to be distributed and who would be entitled, who can claim for it. All those was decided to avoid any kind of dispute or rivalry in a future period of time. Now, what happens if a family member does not agree with how the property is being divided? So he or she may can go to the court and make claims and draw out litigations to avoid all those things. Family settlement was considered as a good method where everyone has to present their opinion, and a common choice can be made, a common decision can be made along with the peace and harmony. Now, a family settlement agreement may be oral or in writing. It may be stamped and registered if required. You don't know. The people may agree upon today's period of time, but in future they may refuse to agree.
because of their personal gains or anything, that their mind can be changed. Now, to avoid all those things, it's very important that the family settlement agreement also has to be made in has to be made in writing, even if it is valid in oral as well. But ensure that the family settlement agreement is made in writing, so along with being stamped and registered, so that after the death of the person who has written the will, after the death of that person, if any of the family members ignores what was decided and tries to go beyond that, tries to refuse the decision that was made and make false claims. So if it is everything is presented in writing form, those disputes, those future disputes that may can arise, can be avoided. So family settlement in writing is a more proper method, if we, rather than keeping it in the oral form. Now let's come to this power of attorney. So a power of attorney is an instrument by which a person may formally authorize another person to act on his behalf or as his agent on all matter or for a specific transaction or particular types of transactions. Now power of attorney is giving someone the right to take decision on certain financial transactions or general matters. So, power of attorney is providing right or giving the power of taking decisions regarding the business or the financial matters. Now, here we are talking that this instrument by which a person authorizes another person to act on his behalf also provides a right to that another person to take certain decisions on specific transactions or different kinds of transactions. A power of attorney can be of two types: a general power of attorney and specific power of attorney. So, in general one, it enables the donee to act on all matters for the donor. Donor is one who is providing the power of attorney to another person, one who is legally authorized, and donee is one who would be acting on behalf of the donor. Okay. So, in general power of attorney, it enables the donee to act on all matters for the donor. The general list of matters covered in this category could be managing bank accounts, selling of property, attending dealings in courts, etc. So, in general, all the transactions, all the financials and the general management transactions of bank accounts, property related to properties, related to accounts, dealings, etc., is handled. But in specific power of attorney, it restricts the donor's authority to act only on specific transactions. So the donor decides that what would be that specific transaction in which the donor can act, or the person to whom the power of attorney has been provided can act in certain transactions only which has been authorized by the donor. Okay. So example, POA granted to a person to deal with the renting out of an apartment only. So there can be very specific transactions in which the power of attorney has been given to another person. Now let's come to mutation. A property when acquired by a person and on becoming the rightful owner of the property should ensure that all the titles of the property are transferred in his name. Now mutation is the thing that need to be considered by the beneficiary. If in your name the property has been transferred, there is not the end of the work. You need to ensure that in all the records the title has been transferred in your name, or whatever property, whatever assets has been provided to you. Now the assets, the transfer of the title and the claim has been in your name in terms of the record keeping and all. So mutation refers to a significant alteration or substitution of the name of a person by the name of another in relation to record showing the right or the title to the property. Okay. So that in future, when you have to collect revenues, when you have to deal in all those properties or transactional matters, it's very important that your name has already been transferred for smooth functioning of or as per your choice. So it's very important to check out all the record keepings and ensure that the property has been transferred in your name, or at least it has been updated. So mutation helps in proper updation of the revenue records to ensure proper collection of revenue from person who is in possession of the property. Thank you for watching. This was all for the video. I hope you liked the video. Please keep up your support on the channel. It would be really appreciated. Thank you so much.